Hi, I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and welcome to Do You Have Any Advice for a Therapist Doing Her First Session? So my quick advice for a new therapist with perfectionist tendencies who is nervous about seeing her first client. So this was the question. Do you have any advice for a therapist doing her first session, especially if that person intellectually is aware of her perfectionist tendencies? I feel like I'm learning tennis again, but I'm thinking about too many parts of the game at once, so I miss the simplest forehand. So this is my reply. Now, I know that feeling with tennis, and actually you play the best tennis when you forget about tennis altogether, when the pressure's off. And it reminds me of the story of the curious boy with the fly. And this boy was fascinated by flies and how they fly. And he captures one, and he's not a psychopath, he's just curious. And he starts picking the legs off the fly, and the wings off the fly, and the head off the fly. He's got all of the parts of the fly, but it doesn't work. The fly doesn't fly because it's no longer a fly. And that's a beautiful and ancient metaphor for different ways of learning and utilizing knowledge. Perfectionism often involves the more conscious, what we might call left brain, trying to regulate and control and put rigid requirements onto areas of life that aren't always as quantifiable as that part of the brain would like. So often the client doesn't respond to our perfect therapy, but gets better after a session we feel wasn't so great. Okay. Maybe from a conscious point of view, it didn't tick all the boxes, but intuitively we did all kinds of things. And it may have even been our slight mistakes that made the therapeutic benefit for the client. And because we weren't sure why we did them, we feel unhappy with the session, but the session is really useful for the client. The most useful advice I was given when initially learning therapy was to forget everything, which of course means learn everything and remember everything, and then forget everything on a conscious level. This is because therapy is primarily a right-brained and intuitive activity that some people try to do like it's a piece of bureaucratic form filling or just putting a jigsaw together. Nothing is more human and spontaneous than sitting down with another person and seeking to help them feel or be better in their life. This is the basis for so much human development, including hundreds of thousands of years before the first ever therapy certificate was made up. I think the best therapists have a generosity of spirit, and they are generous enough not to be perfect, especially when confronted with imperfect clients. We want to be imperfect to match the imperfections of the client. I think it's a good idea to remember that we are not doing therapy to or on our clients, but with them. They will tell you where they need to be, and also, with your help, discover how they can get there. So rather than trying to remember everything you learn on this course and squeezing it into a session in some kind of order, just take in some broad ideas, like the fact that smoking is a relationship, that it's a tyrannical relationship, and so forth. And then your strategies will come from those bigger principles and patterns. So the smoking course that you're doing, the smoker may be suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. That is, the captive may have fallen in love or still be sympathetic to the smoking captor. And we need to respect that. So tread carefully so that they don't tighten the bonds of their own cage. Just taking in some of the bigger ideas will help you be creative with your clients and cut loose, and you'll be surprised at what you'll do and how well you'll do it once the more conscious mind butts out more. It's the conscious mind that likes perfectionism. So my advice is to learn all you can do, then make a point of forgetting about it, relaxing with uncertainty and seeing where your intuition takes you. Because your intuition is what is really going to help the client. And it's free to do that once you've done the conscious learning in the first place. So remember, you being a human and therefore imperfect, and therefore an imperfect therapist, is perfect for the imperfect client, much more so than an intimidatingly perfect therapist. So I think that made perfect sense on one level. Or I hope it did. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe. And if you want to hear when my next video is published, hit the notification bell below this video. I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and if you'd like to subscribe to my email newsletter, you can find it over at unk.com/blog. That's unk.com/blog. Thanks for watching.